and we just finished just now. So I am just getting my act together for class, and we'll start up right away. I hope you guys are doing well. I am really excited to be here today. I'm in a great mood. Ellie and I just had such a fantastic training, and oh, I love it. I love teaching Ki-Hara to the world. It is so fun. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you who know already, if you've done my class before, or if you've done it this week, because I've kind of changed things up a bit, we've been picking cards before class. So I have this deck of cards. They're called yoga exercise cards, and they're by a company called Fit Fab Fun. A new Fit Me. I just made that up. I don't know what Fit Fab Fun. Anyway, New Me Fitness makes these yoga exercise cards. Yesterday, our pose was this giant, crazy king pigeon. I'm glad that one's over. That was a tough one yesterday. But today, hopefully, we'll pick something else and we'll see what happens. The reason I like picking cards is because when I teach class live, like in real life with real people in the room, besides just me and my cat, I am challenged by you guys and what's going on in your bodies. I definitely everybody kind of goes around the room and they say like, I feel this or I feel that, or I'm having this pain, or I want to work on this thing. And when that happens, then we work on problem solving that muscle group. And this one, oh, it's a plank. I don't know if I want to do this one today. All right, we'll do it. Planks, bleh. Well, there's actually a lot of stuff going on in this one. But anyway, like I was saying, usually during class people have problems, and I problem solve those things, and it's really fun for me. And in this room, like there's really nothing to problem solve because it's just me. So I've been picking these cards to give myself a little bit of a mental challenge during class, but also, to introduce you guys to something new, and also to see how like really cool and innovative Ki-Hara is. This method is so cool, you guys, and it's basically just 3 principles, and you can apply them to any movement that you do in anything in your whole life. You move, you resist, and if anything hurts, you stop. So you're basically learning all about your body and how it moves in space, how you find your stability, how you keep yourself safe, and then how to increase your mobility that way. It's pretty awesome. So for our physical challenge, we've got this low plank, which is basically chaturanga. Chaturanga in yoga class is usually something that people don't do. In this pose, we're going to have some calf flexibility. You're going to have strength through your toes. You're going to have flexibility through your wrists and in the back of your shoulders for sure, and also in the front of the shoulders. So we're going to work on opening those things up and see if we can find a position here that makes sense for us. Now, you don't have to do this pose, right? That's the great thing about Ki-Hara, is that we're going to take you from a standing position into this position in the way that feels the safest and the best to you. So no matter where you are in life or in your body, we're going to find a way to get you into as close to this as you are possible doing, and see if we can challenge it a little bit without putting you in a place that's dangerous for you. Now, I also have been picking cards before class for a little bit of extra spiritual work, because I feel like right now, being under lockdown, everybody's a little bit introspective. We are trying to figure out what's going on with us in our worlds and in our lives, and what the future is going to hold, and what the past was all about, and what's what, and nobody knows. And I'll tell you, the only thing that we do know is that we don't know anything. We know nothing about nobody. I mean, it's like we have no control. So I have this deck of cards called the Osho Zen Tarot. It's fantastic. The links for both of these decks are down in the description below. And so I'm just going to pick 3 cards, and we're going to focus on those 3 cards in some of our stretches today, and see if you're trapping anything in your body that needs to come out. Ooh, that one flew in my face. Well, it's a big one. Consciousness. That's like pure on mental focus. That's pretty amazing. So we will put that in our brain space today. We also have abundance. This guy's super gross. Maybe he's all hairy. I don't know. Anyway, he's supposed to be like the king of pentacles if you do tarot cards. So he's basically the guy who has it all. Like he has the wealth, he has the knowledge, he has all the gifts. He's like earthy. We'll put that in our emotional space today. And then in the spiritual space, this one, suppression. This is about the burdens that you're carrying, the things that you have in your life. So we will put those into our awareness today, into our mental, emotional, and spiritual space. And our physical bodies, we will work on low plank. And let's see what happens. You never know. You never know. For those of you who are watching live, say hi. Put a little comment in the chat if you are able to chat. I know if you're watching this on your TV, you may not be able to, but you could also log in on your phone and then you're able to chat. For those of you who are watching after the fact, like if this is, you played it back, you backtracked, go ahead and fast forward, because if you miss one stretch or two stretches, the world's not going to end. And you can also chat with me at that point. But if you chat with me after the fact, I'm not going to be able to hear it, okay? So, or to see it. I can only see people who are chatting live during class. So make sure that you are live with me if that's the thing that you want to do. All right, my friends, let me get set up here. I'm just going to put our cards down so I know what I'm working on today. And clear out some things that are not important. All right. Okay, I hope you guys can see me okay. Let me add the perfect side just a little. Close your eyes if this bugs you. Good, that should do it. One more little disclaimer. The internet looks like it's good today, but sometimes it takes a turn for the worse, and if that happens, then I might get kicked off. If I get kicked off, like if class just suddenly stops or if I freeze up or something, just wait a few minutes, go to my main page, the Stretch Chi YouTube channel, and you should be able to find the video there. I'll just start a whole new video and we'll just keep going, okay? All right. Let's get started. So our first main stretch that we're going to work on is this low plank. This is our chaturanga. So what you'll do is lay on your stomach. Bring your hands under you like this with your elbows tucked in, and just notice how you feel in this position. And then tuck your toes, and you're going to try to push your whole body up. Now you may not come up. You might just get to this point, and that's all you can do, and that's okay. Or you may come up here into a plank, and then if you can be in this plank, very slowly lower yourself down until you're at the floor. And I just want you to pay attention to how your body feels in this position. So if you want to be on your toes and slowly lower down, you stop when your body says stop. You can put your knees down if you want. Stop when your body says stop, and then come back up. So it's like a push-up, but your elbows are coming behind you. Your flexibility will tell you when to stop. Like when I'm about here, my body says that's good, okay? So you kind of play around with it and see what feels the best to you. All right? Okay. So let's challenge that a little bit through the class today. See if we can increase our mobility in some way. We're going to need to really open up our triceps here and our lats, the back of our shoulders, to give us the strength to be able to drop down. Who's in the chat? Hi guys, it's Rachel and Topher. I'm so glad you guys are here. They post the best food things on the Instagram. It makes me want to come to your house and eat all the scones. I hope you guys are doing good. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to work on. Put it in the chat. It's so good to see you guys. Okay, let's get started. I think maybe we'll do some stretches for our upper body to start, and then we'll move through to some other things. So first I'm going to start off with the back of your shoulders. So sit in a way that feels really comfortable to you. Bring your right arm up like you're pulling a tray muscle, and grab your elbow with your left hand, and then try to pull both arms apart. You'll push open for strength, so just push to the right side, and then pull across for your stretch to the left. And open for strength, and close for stretch. You should feel this in the back of your right shoulder right here. If that doesn't feel good, it's okay. You just skip the stretch. Just go ahead and do the other side. So we're going to revisit. And I think today, let's do a little problem solving. So we'll go for about 5 stretches, and then we'll revisit, okay? So open for strength and close for stretch. And let's just do one more. Opening up, and then close it. And then we'll do the other side. So bring your left arm up and grab your elbow with your left hand. Resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. Push open for strength and close for your stretch. And again, you should feel the outside of your left shoulder this time, right through here. Hopefully that feels good. Again, if it doesn't, just skip it. If you feel something different, if you feel pinching in the front, it's okay. Just means we got to work on those muscles instead. So just give it a second. We'll work through. So open for strength and close for stretch. And about 5 of them or so. And then we're going to move on. Now let's go ahead and do a stretch for the back of our shoulders and our neck. So you're going to bring your right arm across your body, grab your wrist with your left hand, and resist like you're trying to pull your arms diagonally apart. So you're going to push your right arm up to the left. It's a diagonal push up. And then use your left arm to pull you down towards the right. And when you get to the bottom, bring your head to the left, a little bit forward, and then look up a bit. See if you can find that stretch in the outside of your neck. Keep your hand really tight like you've got jazz hands. Just open it up like that. That's going to give you a really good stretch. Up for strength, and then down for your stretch. Bring it to the side. Open your fingers up, bring your head away from your shoulder. So I'm stretching my right shoulder so my head goes to the left. And then reset your head and start over. Up and down. Up for strength and down for your stretch. And your head to the side. And let's do one more and then we'll switch sides, okay? So up for strength and down for stretch. Oh, so good. Okay, now bring your left arm across your body. Grab your wrist with your right hand. You're going to resist like you're pulling both arms apart. Push up all the way for strength. And then pull down for your stretch. And when you pull down, it's this diagonal pull down to the right. When your hand comes to the right, keep your fingers really pointed out. And then pull your head also to the right side. This makes a triangle. If you look at my head and my hand and my shoulder, it makes a triangle. Do you see that? So you want to think of those 3 points as you're stretching. Make a triangle with your head and your hand so that from your forehead to your wrist is a straight line. If you can't figure that out, you're probably either moving your arm in the wrong direction, like you're stretching like this so that your hand goes across your face and open, or you're tilting your head to the wrong side. So you push up and you're pushing up to the right, pulling to the left and bringing your head to the left. So both your head and your hand come away from your shoulder. You follow? I hope so. All right, to the side. Good. Now we're going to stretch out the front of our shoulders. So you're going to sit back, bring your hands behind you, point your fingers towards your feet, twist in for strength, and then push open for your stretch. Push your fingertips into the ground so that you get some stretch through your wrist also. Rotate in with your shoulders, and then push your sternum up towards the ceiling. This rotates your shoulders out. You can bring your head back if it feels good, and then pull right back in. In for strength, and up for stretch. Oh, very good. Now the card that we picked today that lines up with this stretch is this suppression stretch. Now let me show you this card again for those of you who are just joining in. This does not look like fun. It's basically a stretch about burdens. This is interesting because yesterday we also had a stretch about stress, right? And it was very similar. So you want to think about, while you're doing this stretch, where you are tying yourself up and what you can let go of. What things can you drop from life in general? Or what can you drop just from your like emotional being today, or even from your body? What can you drop? So it's kind of a fun one to put into this stretch at least. We'll revisit it too when we come back to it. Now the next stretch we're going to do is for the front of your chest, and this one's a push-up. We're going to go into wide arms, and then we're going to try again with our elbows tucked in, like chaturanga, like our low plank. That's our stretch of the day. Okay, so we're going to go into a wide arm stretch. I usually have this one on my knees. You can do it off your feet too if you feel like it. You can also do this on the wall if it feels good. Come down into a plank so your hips drop down. Engage your lower abs. Let your elbows come out to the side and drop down as far as you feel like you can, and then push back up. So down for your stretch. It's across the front of your shoulders, and then back up for strength. Now you can bring your hands back a little bit and kind of play around with this angle and let your elbows come more like a 45 degrees out. That might feel different. And then with your hands under your shoulders and letting your elbows tuck back, go down as far as your body will let you go, and then come back up. Notice what you feel when you get to the bottom. I feel this kind of across the back of my shoulder blades, which tells me that there's something that I need to open up in the back of my shoulders. So we're just going to keep working on that. And you can keep working on it too. Let me know what you feel, okay? We'll keep working through it. All right, so now let's go back to this one for the back of your shoulders. Bring your right arm up, grab the outside of your shoulder, open up for strength, and pull across for your stretch. And you should feel a little bit of a deeper stretch this time, hopefully. If not, it's okay. Just do what feels good to you. Open for strength and close for stretch. And it's here. Yeah, man, suppression. I mean, I feel like right now, every class is about lockdown. It's all about lockdown. It's almost like we have burdens in a different way than we ever did before. So we kind of have to relearn how to deal with things in life, right? You have to relearn what you want to carry around with you, right? I don't have to carry my purse around anymore. I don't have to carry around my backpack. I don't have to get on the train and go downtown. I don't have the same kind of burdens as I did. But I have different burdens now. And so what are those burdens, and how are they holding you down? And how can you access them in a little bit of a better way? Like maybe there's just a new learning curve that you need for this new normal, right? It's a new little learning curve. Like I need to be a little bit better about planning for the grocery store. I used to go to the grocery store whenever I needed to. It's like down the street, I just walk there. Now, like to go to the grocery store, I have to wear a mask, and I have to take my hand sanitizer, and I have to change my clothes when I get home, and I have to wash everything down. Like it's kind of a bigger deal than it was before. So if I'm going to go to the grocery store, I need to plan better, right? So that it doesn't become this huge burden, so that I can put it into one day as opposed to like 5 days, right? It's a little bit of a trick. It's like the things that weigh me down are a little different than they used to be. So getting used to it. It's time to get used to some things, you guys. Time to get used to it. Okay, let's work on the back of our shoulders now. So bring your right hand across, grab your wrist, up for strength, and down for stretch, and your head to the side. And so your head will go to the left, up for strength, up to the right, and push down to the left. Now, our chaturanga stretch is going to grab a little bit through here. So I want to see if we can grab that too. So instead of putting your head to the side, let's just work on your shoulder. And as you pull down into the stretch, just give it a little internal twist so that your thumb points down towards the floor. That's going to grab a little bit more through here, hopefully. It might not. Just depends on if you're tight there. So don't tip your head at the end. Give it a little internal twist so that your thumb points down. Oh, I almost stretched my neck. Up for strength and down for stretch, a little internal twist. I suppose this time if you want to throw your head in, you can, so just bring it to the other side. With that twist, you might find a deeper stretch even now. Oh, so good. Okay, now bring your left arm across. You're going to grab your wrist with your right hand, push up for strength, and down for stretch. Our first couple stretches, you can bring your head to the side. and get your neck stretch in there. Now notice, guys, I'm sitting on my knees, but you don't have to. Sit however you want. Sit in a way that feels good to you. Even in a chair would be okay for this one. Now this time, twist your thumb down to the floor. Don't tip your head over. See if you can get a little bit more stretch through your arm. You might not. It's okay, it just depends. Has to do with where your body is. You might even feel it grab, like that time I felt it in this plane, so I didn't twist anymore. It just stayed right where it was. So you find where you feel it kind of like grab through the outside of your shoulder, or maybe through your tricep right here, and catch that. When you get to the bottom here, you can bring your head to the side if you want that deeper stretch. Not bad. Up for strength, and down for stretch. Nice job, guys. Okay, now we'll get into the front of our shoulders again, so come back into your reverse table. Hands behind you, your fingers point towards your feet, rotate your shoulders in, push through your hands, lift your chest up, and let go of all those chains that are holding you down. You don't need them. Pull in and up. You know, I've also been thinking a lot about location, which I find kind of interesting. When I read tarot cards, the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which is different than this one, this card is the 10 of Wands. It's a man walking down the street and he's holding 10 sticks on his back and he's carrying it down the street. And most people say that it's like having all these burdens and you're like weighed down by the things in life and, you know, and your actions. But I like to think of it also as like you can pick up your sticks and move them somewhere else. Like you can pick up your junk and go somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're in this place right now where you can't really pick up and go. But at the same time, life is completely different than it was before. So a lot of people are working remotely. You don't have to go to a job as much anymore. Like maybe, like here I am doing this work with you guys online. Earlier this morning, I was on a phone call, on a Zoom call with somebody from England. And then we had a question, so we called Anne, and Anne in Florida was able to check in. I mean, it was really cool. I was basically in like all parts of the world at one time. I mean, you could just pick up your stuff and go. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like a neat, interesting thing to think of. Okay, so now that we've unlocked all this stuff, let's go one more time into our chaturanga. Now, you guys can play around with this in a lot of different ways. Like maybe it doesn't feel good to you to do this on the ground, so maybe do it on the wall. All you're going to do is go into a push-up, but your elbows stay close to your body, okay? So as you do this on the wall, I'm not sure, you can't really see my head, but from this position, I just put my hands against the wall, and I tuck in and come into the wall until I feel like I've gone far enough, and then I push back up. This is going to grab your chest and your shoulders in a different way than we usually get it with our push-up on the floor, right? Now, if you want to try this on the floor, maybe try it from a knee plank and then on your feet if it feels good. So you bend your elbows until you feel like you're going to lose your core strength and then push back up. Make sure that you always feel safe and controlled. Never go to a place that feels too, I'm kind of going too far. You can see my hips kind of drop down, but I'm just playing around with what I know about my body here. So if I really go to a place where I feel really safe, it's about there. And then I push back up. Nice work, guys. You could do that on your toes too if you feel like it. Knock yourself out. Go crazy. Now, you guys, if you know me, you know that I have my ups and downs with yoga, right? And what I find very challenging in a yoga class, especially even a beginner yoga class, really go into a flow and the reset between your flows, like between what your actual like yoga workout, is the reset a lot of times is to go into downward dog, chaturanga, and then up dog, right? It's a very quick, fluid motion. And if you're not strong enough to get all the way to the floor, then going from a downward dog into that chaturanga and into up dog can be very, very challenging. So what I tell my clients to do is to just go from down dog into a plank, drop your knees and come to the floor, and then come up into up dog if that feels comfortable. So in a yoga class, for me, it would look like this. I would go from my down dog position to my plank, and then I would drop down so that I'm relaxed here. I'm not putting too much pressure on my shoulders. And then I come up into the up dog. Okay, so you can kind of play around with it, but just be aware that if you are doing yoga, which is fine if you are, that you don't want to beat yourself up too much about chaturanga, because we just saw how hard that low plank can be to control, right? So give yourself a little bit of slack on that one, okay? All right, let's go into some stretches for our lower body, I think. Now, let's try out... let's see. We definitely need some hip flexor flexibility to get into this chaturanga too. So let's try our hip flexor lunge. You're going to bring your right leg in the front and your left leg behind. And you're going to kick back with your right leg like this, like you're trying to engage your hamstring. It's like you're trying to kick your heel with your butt, but the mat stops you. Or kick your butt with your heel, you know what I mean. And then the back leg is going to try to pull forward. From here, you're scissoring in with both legs, and you'll use your front leg to pull you into the stretch. So my front leg is pulling me forward. I feel the stretch here in my left hip, and then I'm going to use my left leg to pull me back. You just go back and forth. You should feel this right here. If you don't, it's okay to skip it because we'll revisit. We're just going to do about 5 of them because we'll come back and do these again to get some problem solving in today. Just find a place that really works for you. Back for strength and forward for your stretch. Let's do one more. Good one, huh? Okay, now the other side. So drop your right leg down, your left leg will come forward, and you're going to scissor both legs in, like you're trying to pull your front leg back and your back leg is trying to pull forward. Let your front leg pull you into the stretch. See if you can find that stretch in your right hip, right in front of the right hip. If you don't feel it, just skip it because we'll come back. We're going to do 5 reps of this one, and then we'll move on. Forward this way. This is your stretch. I'm fighting with my back leg, and then my back leg is going to pull me back. You might notice that you feel a little bit deeper stretch on this if you just give your tailbone a little tuck. You just tilt your pelvis back, posterior tilt. One more stretch. Nice work. Now flip legs again. And we're going to stretch our hamstrings, but we're going to stretch them from this position. If this is tough on your knees, you can stretch your hamstrings on your back if you already know that stretch. Otherwise, just put something under your knee like a towel or something. Chances are if you were just doing that hip flexor stretch, you should be okay. So we're going to do the same action on this one, but we're going to access it in a little different way. So my front leg is going to try to kick back like this, but the mat will stop me. If I continue kicking with my front leg, it's going to pull me forward. This gets me that hip flexor stretch again. It's the same thing, but I'm really going to focus on this muscle in the front leg contracting. Then keep contracting that leg, but use your lower back, like your lower leg to pull you back. And as you come back into the stretch, go ahead and let your legs straighten out, but resist. So my heel's still kicking down, and lean forward into the stretch. You should feel the whole back of your leg. Then you use your leg to pull you forward. So you bend at the knee, engage the hamstring, and back for your stretch. And again, we're going to go into about 5. We've done 2. And we'll come back and revisit this one later. So if you're having any trouble with this, if you don't feel it, if it doesn't feel good, if you only feel your calf or if you feel it in your back or something, then go ahead and skip it. We'll come back to it later. This might be 5, but I'm going to do one more just for kicks. Kicks. And switch sides. So now my left leg's in the front, my right leg's behind. I'm going to kick my hamstring back. That's going to draw me forward and engage the hamstring here. Keep that hamstring engaged. You're still trying to kick your heel back. And you sit back. Use your lower body, your right leg to pull you back. Your left leg is fighting. And you can lean forward into the stretch if it feels good. Then kick your heel and pull it forward. And use your back leg to pull you back. Lean into the stretch if that's what you want to do. Forward for strength. And pull back for your stretch. You find this right in your hamstring, right back here. Forward for strength, back for stretch. Good. All right. We're going to stretch our glutes next. I'm feeling a little crazy today, guys. So we're going to do a lot of glute work, I think. I think it'll be good for you. So bring your right leg on top of your left leg. Reach through and grab your left leg with both hands. And from here, push with your right leg away from your body while you pull in with your arms. So push out for strength and pull in for stretch. And I want to do 3 of these. Pay attention to where you are, what you feel like. Push out for strength and in for stretch, and then go ahead and switch sides. I have a plan, you guys. Push with your left leg now and grab with your right hand behind your leg. Grab your right leg and pull in for stretch. And again, we're just going to do a couple. Out for strength and in for stretch. And one more. Okay, guys. Here's where it gets crazy. There's a principle in Ki-Hara that basically says if you can't activate a muscle, you can't stretch it. But also, there's another principle that says that if you could strength train a muscle, you can stretch it more, and vice versa. So a more flexible muscle in the Ki-Hara world, like a true flexible muscle, which means that you can resist and stretch, is also stronger. It can contract more. There's an inverse relationship, a proportional relationship between the two. So let's strength train our glutes and go from there. Now, every stretch that we do, I gotta plug in my computer, you guys, hold on. Every stretch that we do, or every strength training that we do, will start to burn at a certain point, and that's when you stop. So you don't have to keep doing this until I tell you to stop or until it feels terrible. Just do as many of these motions as feels good to you, and then move on to the next one, or just take a break until I start teaching the next one, okay? All right, so lay on your right side. And what we're gonna do is bend the bottom leg so that you feel really stable. Take your leg, your top leg, and reach it all the way out as far as you can. Brace your body with your hand here on the top, and you're gonna push back. So you go from your midline here, so I'm not actually bringing my toes in front of my body. Everything's going backwards. And I want you to do that a bunch of times, like maybe 10 or 15 times. Straight back. And you're going to start to feel your glute kind of activate. It should kind of start to burn a little bit. And when you start to feel it warm up, which is probably getting close, it doesn't have to be crazy, just a little bit. Then bend your knee, and see I have the wall behind me? I'm going to try to press my foot into the wall, and this is a really small movement as well. I'm just pushing back into the wall. I'm not bringing my knee in front of my body. It's always staying behind me, and you'll start to really feel it through your glute. And when it starts to burn, then bring your leg to straight. And what you're going to do is, see my foot here? I'm going to take my leg behind my foot, and then I'm going to bring it over my foot. And I'm just going to go back and forth like a rainbow, over, and just from the front to the back. It's like if there was a ball on the floor, if I was going up and down over that ball, and you'll start to feel the outside of your hip here really burning. It's pretty brutal. And then one more, bring your leg to the front, and you're going to bring it all the way up and all the way down, just in the way that feels good to you. If you don't have range, it's okay to just go this far. It's okay. If you can't lift it up, that's okay too. Just skip it. Oh, I have a delivery. You guys keep doing that. I'm going to ring the bell and get the Amazon. I gotcha, Amazon. Okay. It's the cat food. The cats need food, you guys. Okay, so now, after we've done that leg, lay on your back, and we're going to stretch that same leg. So bring it on top, reach through and grab behind, Push out for strength. It'll feel really tired. And then pull in for your stretch, and you might be pretty surprised at the difference. A much deeper stretch this time. Even if that strength training feels like it's super intense, it is a good one. Whew. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just swing around. On your side, you'll bend your left or bend your bottom leg so that it feels stable. You can hold with your other arm to also keep you stable. Bring your top leg straight and reach your heel all the way out. Then you're just gonna back it up. Just go back. Oh, my other leg is so tired. So just back, back, back. You never let your foot come forward. It should only kick back. So my heel is kicking back towards this wall. And then when you start to feel it just a little, you can feel how much you're burning on the other side. You don't have to do much. Bend your knee and try to press your heel to the wall. This is a very small motion. So if you guys were looking at me from above, it would look like this. Just to press up. It's a very small motion, but still intense. It's still so good for your glutes. This is a Buns of Steel, you guys. I don't know if it's from that video, but if you guys were alive in the 80s, there was this great video called Buns of Steel. I think you can do it on the YouTube. I think it's out there. Okay, now you're going to take your leg straight, and we're going to do the rainbow over your foot. So arc to the back, arc to the front, and just go back and forth. And when that starts to burn, then we're going to windshield wiper. I have a cat here. She's not been very cooperative today. Do you want to help? Okay, bring that leg to the front and up and down. And just do as many as you feel like doing. Oh, brutal. And then when that feels the burn, then lay on your back and we're going to stretch that leg out. So bring your left leg on top of your knee, grab with both hands, push away for your strength training motion, and pull in for stretch. And that should burn a lot. This is the hardest thing we're going to do today, guys, I promise. Well, I think. We'll see. We'll see. Out for strength and in for stretch. And you just go back and forth. Nice work, my friends. Okay, the next stretch we're going to do is for your inner thighs. So just stay on your back just like you are. Bring your feet right up towards the ceiling and grab your knees on the inside like this. Your thumbs point down. Your legs are going to squeeze in, and you'll use your arms to open you up into a wide leg split. After doing all that glute work, this stretch would feel pretty awesome. And then you just come up for strength and down for stretch. Inner thighs right here. It's okay if this stretch is pretty shaky. You can shake in this one. It's not a big deal. We'll just do a few of them so that we can come back and revisit. All right. Now, back up into your hip flexor lunge. We're going to stretch out the front of our hips again. And use your front leg to pull you forward. Squeeze your legs in. You should feel the stretch in the front of your back leg right here. If you don't, it's okay. You just skip it. You could have some extra problem solving to do. You know, if you ever really have trouble with these stretches, if you can't figure them out, I have step-by-step videos on my page. You just look at the playlist. You can find them there. I also have problem-solving videos. So if you know that like the hip flexor is your problem, then find the hip flexor problem-solving video, and you can do that one. Or you can just learn each stretch one by one. Depends on how much you want to know before you dive into class, or maybe live classes for you. Now this stretch, if we want to put our awareness into a little bit of like self-care or some growth, then I want you to think about abundance. What does that mean to you today? What was the first thing that popped into your head when I said abundance? Put your awareness on that thing. And then come to the other side. So now your right leg will be behind and your left leg will be in front. And you're going to scissor so that your left leg pulls you forward into the stretch. And your back leg is getting the stretch on the right side. And then back for strength and forward for stretch. And then if you can, clear your thoughts. I know it's so hard. Just clear it out, so wipe it clean. And again, abundance. And what comes to your head this time? Maybe it's different. Maybe it's the same. What does it mean to you? In this context of this stretch, what does the word abundance mean to you? Good work, guys. Sometimes you need some guidance. Sometimes you just gotta let your body figure it out, you know? Sometimes it's like the feeling that comes up when I say a word. Like if I say the word abundance and then what emotion comes up during that? Like does it piss you off? Does it make you happy? Does it make you feel relieved? Do you think about like how many rolls of toilet paper you bought at the grocery store? Like what does abundance mean to you, right? And we can focus on that in some of our other stretches too today also. Okay, now let's go back into our hamstring stretch. So you're gonna stay in that hip flexor lunge. I have my right leg in the front this time. I'm gonna pull forward for strength and then use my lower leg and my lower body to pull me back. And I lean forward into this stretch. Now our thought card for this one is consciousness. It has a picture like a Buddha statue, and his third eye is all lit up, right? What is pure consciousness to you? What does that mean? For me, it means letting go of my ego and paying attention to like that soft, quiet voice inside of me that doesn't really say words. You know that voice? You know that voice? Am I the crazy one? No. So basically, it's like the inner deep part of your soul, the inner part of you. See if you can find the silence in this stretch. I know I'm talking, it doesn't help, but see if you can find that silence, see if you can find that peace in your mind. Good, good. All right, and then let's switch sides. So now I have my left leg in the front. I'm going to kick my heel into the floor like I'm trying to kick my heel all the way up to my glutes. And then I'm going to use my lower leg to pull me back and just lean into the stretch. And then I'm going to use my front leg to pull me back up and come forward. I'm contracting this hamstring, and then I pull right back. And then pay attention to the thoughts that just popped into your head. That's your ego brain. Listen to those thoughts and then let them go. The ego a lot of times tells us things like, you should be doing it this way, or why is your hamstring not this tight, or, you know, why is there so much cat hair on your pants? So that's the ego mind, right? I like to think of it as like what stage moms are like. Stage moms are like putting on makeup on a 4-year-old. Like a 4-year-old does not care. That's all for the stage mom. So if you are listening to your ego mind, and your ego mind is like the stage mom of your body, tell it to shut up and just be the 4-year-old. See if you can find that 4-year-old mind. Pure consciousness, you guys. But it's good stuff. All right. Okay, we did so much hip or glute work that we're not going back to our glutes, but I would like to revisit the inner thighs. So go ahead and lay on your back again, and we'll do that inner thigh stretch again. And this one's a fun one. We can think about abundance. So kick your feet together and everything's closed up. And then as you open up, look at all that space between your feet. You're so abundant. And then close it up. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. That's your ego. Yes, I am. Get all that abundance. What does abundance mean to you today? You can check in with yourself. What do you have? What can you be grateful for? You may not have, the places to go to or the things to do or the people to see, but you have time. You have time to sleep in. You have the ability to, eat food at your own house. You have the abundance of space right now in your house, hopefully. I mean, what do you have the abundance of? What makes you happy? What makes you feel full, right? Find that today. All right. Let's go back to our arms. I think for pulling in this way, I need to feel loose through my deltoids. I need to have this kind of stretch in the top here. So let's do our deltoid stretch. Bring your right arm into the side and grab your wrist with your opposite hand. Push up with your right arm. Your left arm will pull you back down. And then when you get to the bottom, bring your head to the left as well. See if you can find that stretch in your neck up through here and the top of your shoulder. Up for strength and down for stretch. And your head to the side. Now when we do the chaturanga, we come back this way. So you might think about pulling your elbow a little bit behind you this time to see if you can find a deeper stretch. It might also feel good to bring your elbow a little bit in front. You just find what feels the best to you. You can play around with it a little bit. Or you can go straight up and down. Because it's your body and you do what you want, right? Listen to it. It tells you what it wants. Let's do one more and then we'll switch sides. Okay, bring your left arm in. Grab your wrist with your right hand. Push up for strength and down for your stretch. And bring your head this time to the right. And then play around with the angle that your elbow lands in. Maybe it lands a little bit further behind you. Or maybe it's a little in front. See what feels good to you. Up for strength and down for stretch. Your head to the side and we'll do one more. Up for strength, down for stretch. Nice work. Okay, and next our lats. So bring your right arm up and put it right behind your shoulders. So you just let your hand hover down and grab your elbow with your other hand. And then you're going to try to pull both arms apart. When you do that, you're going to activate all through here on the side bodies. And then pull towards your opposite knee. So you're pulling your armpit away from your hip. And that's going to give you a stretch through your side body, right through here. So you pull to the right, to the left, and then pull your body up to the right. You just go back and forth. If you don't feel this, you don't feel it here, if you feel it behind your shoulders, or if you feel it on top of your shoulders, just skip it because we're going to come back to it. Today is a good day for problem solving, I think. Up for strength and over for stretch. All right, let's switch sides. So bring your left arm up. Let your hand just hover behind your shoulder blades or your neck, whatever feels good. And grab your elbow with your opposite hand and you're going to try to pull both arms apart. This will activate your lats again, so find that. And then with your right arm, pull down to the right side. Keep your hips down. If you need to sit in a different way, that's okay. Just make sure that your hip bones are on the floor. So you could sit with your legs crossed like this. You could sit in a chair too. But you just want to make sure that you can keep your hips grounded. Over for stretch and up for strength. And let's do one more. I think that's 5. I don't know. It's close. Oh, okay. Whew. It's warm in here today. You know, it snowed here, you guys. I put a picture on my Instagram. It's really pretty. I woke up this morning to snow all over the ground. That means the heaters are on today. It's good fun. All right, now we're going to stretch out our calves and our shoulders. We're going to go ahead into that downward dog stretch that I was showing you earlier. So here's how it works. Bring your hands in front of you under your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Come up to straight legs. Let your heels be up. That's okay. Then you're going to push all the way up onto your toes. Let your shoulders come right over your hands. And then use your arms to push you back down. So your arms push your heels to the floor. Bring your head through. And then come forward for strength. You're just going to come to this point and then use your arms to push you back down. And your legs push you up. Now from here, if we want to play around with this chaturanga idea, make your downward dog a little bit wider, so your arms a little further in front of you. Come up so that you end up in a plank and go ahead and drop your hips. Okay? If this doesn't feel good, drop your knees. Hello, thank you, Suri. If you feel like you can, bend your elbows to the point where you feel like you're going to lose your core, then back up and bring yourself back into downward dog. Come up to your toes, find your shoulders over your hands, drop your hips and elbows back until you feel like you can't, and then come right back up. So you want to play around in that range where you feel really safe and stable. And if you never feel safe and stable, then just don't do it, right? Don't do it. Because you want to do what feels good to your body, right? That's safe for you. That's safe for you. Now, when you have enough strength to bring your entire body to the floor, which is not just strength, but is also flexibility in a Ki-Hara sense, that is the ability to contract the muscle through the entire range of motion. When you have that flexibility in the front of your shoulders and can come all the way to the floor, then you're safe to do this progression in yoga class. If you cannot do that and you're in the yoga class, then fake it. Drop your knees, let yourself down easy, okay? All right. Okay, now we're gonna work on the back of our shoulders. So bring your hands together. Bring your thumbs right over the crown of your head. Let your thumbs just hover right over your head. And then squeeze your elbows together. Gravity is your resistance, so you don't even have to think about it. Close your elbows. Let your shoulders open up. You should feel this in the back of your shoulders as your elbows come together, and then open for strength. You just go back and forth, just like that. Open for strength and close for stretch. Whew. Nice. Oh, good stretch. Good job. She pays so much attention. She's like, let me show you how that goes. It goes like this. It goes like this. Rub my belly. Yeah. Ouch. Don't bite me. Okay. So now bring your right arm in, grab your elbow with the other hand, up for strength, and down for stretch, and bring your head to the side. Up for strength, down for stretch, your head to the side. You can bring your elbow back behind you a little bit if it feels good, just to stretch out the front of your deltoid, this anterior deltoid, we call it, right in the front. Up for strength, down for stretch. And let's switch sides. Up for strength, down for stretch. Bring your head to the opposite side. Let your elbow come a little bit behind your body if it feels good. Just find that stretch. Bring your head to the opposite side to get the stretch through your neck as well. And you've got it. All right, now let's go back to our last stretch. So bring your right arm up, grab your elbow with your other hand, resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart, and you're gonna pull your elbow towards your opposite knee. Now the card for this stretch, since we're doing some problem solving now, is this idea of suppression. This idea of having to pick up everything you own and carry it somewhere else. To pick up the pieces and rebuild. What does that mean for you? If you think like, okay, this is the end of a cycle and the start of a new cycle, what are you gonna take with you? Think about that. What do you want to keep? What do you want to throw away? I feel like this is a time when we can really purge a lot of things, right? It might be clothes. It might be, you might be like, well, if I have Zoom meetings, I'm getting rid of all my pants. Like, who needs pants, right? Keep your pants, kids, keep your pants. All right, so now from here, we'll grab the other arm. So I have my left arm up, I'm gonna grab with my right hand, I'm gonna try to pull my arms apart, and I'm gonna pull to the opposite knee. So I'm pulling my elbow towards my right knee. Hi, sorry, just my hair. Hi, Bubba, did you have some breakfast? You did. Salmon breakfast. Up for strength and down for stretch. And get that idea in your head, that idea of change What's happening next? What are the things you're going to carry with you, and what are you going to let go of? What are the burdens you're going to drop? What are the things you want to keep? Oh, it's good to think about. It's good life, sorry. It's good. Oh, so much hair, look at that. It's a cloud of hair. Cat hair. All right, now we're going to go back and revisit our downward dog again. If you want to practice your chaturanga in this one, go ahead. Feel free. If it doesn't feel good to you, then don't even do it. Just stick with the downward dog stretch. And if you want, you can do this stretch on the wall also, or on a chair. Sometimes I do the downward dog stretch on the back of a chair like this. And I just push my hands down into the chair and bend my waist to come down. Now, clearly you won't be able to practice the chaturanga in this one. So just do what feels good to you. Okay, but for the rest of you who want to go ahead into the downward dog stretch, put your hands in front of you. You're going to be a little wider than you would be for a normal Ki-Hara stretch, so my hands are further in front so that when I come into this plank, I'm actually in a full plank. So find that for you. Push with your hands to bring your heels down towards the floor. Use your legs to push you back up. Fight with your hands. Find yourself in a plank. Bend at your elbows. When you feel like you can't hold yourself up, push back up and come on back. Find your plank. Bend your elbows. When you feel like you can't hold it, come back up. And just play around with what feels really safe and good to you. It might not feel safe to move there at all. Just do what feels good, right? It's your body. You do what you want. You do what you want, my friends. Okay, but do this one. Bring your thumbs over your head and try to squeeze your elbows together. And as you do this, put awareness into your emotions about abundance. How does it feel to you to feel abundant? I know that sounds really funny, but what does abundance feel like in your body? If you don't feel abundant right now, how could you make your body feel abundant? Like what feels like, what does abundance feel like? Like if you had a huge table full of food and desserts and smorgasbord of, you know, like they, like in a Christmas Carol, when he has all the food, that's like the ghost of Christmas present. You could think of that. What would that feel like to you if you opened the door and it was suddenly like a buffet of everything you've ever wanted in your whole life? What does that feel like? Sometimes when we put those emotions into our body, then we can start to think those things, and then we start to notice abundance around us. And it changes your mindset. Like just changing your emotional field can change your mindset really fast. A lot of times people talk about like the law of attraction and say like, you know, if you feel something, then those things will be attracted to you. Like you can create things in your world. But that's not really what it is it? It's more like you put yourself on that vibration, and then when the things that have always been around you all the time that are abundant, they just become more like bigger, right? Like it's like turning a neon light on and that wasn't on before. All of a sudden you can see in a different way. So when you put that emotion in you, you can feel it different, and then life feels really abundant, which is fantastic. All right, how are we doing, you guys? I don't even know what time it is, but let's go ahead into a quad stretch. I need a towel. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to take this towel and double it up a few times so that it's pretty thick, and I'm going to put it on the floor. I have it a few inches away from the wall, but you can decide how close you want it or how far away you want it. The more stretch you want, the closer your knee will be. So the floor, or let me say this in a different way. I'm going to get into the stretch first. Put your hands down. Bring your right leg up and put your knee on the towel and your foot flat against the wall. And we're going to come up into a lunge like this. So you bring your right leg or your opposite leg in the front, and then you're in a lunge. If this is intense, then bring the towel further away from the wall so that the angle is smaller. Okay? It'll actually make it a little bit easier for you to have the towel further away from the wall. Okay? Now push your foot into the wall and that's going to drive you forward. And then use your front leg to push you back. And forward and back. Now with this stretch, we're going to put our awareness back into consciousness. So if you feel this quad stretch and you feel good and you want to explore something different, then try to pay attention to the words that are coming up in your brain, the ego mind. What is your stage mom inside your head telling you? And let those thoughts go. Recognize it for what it is. Someone else, some other thoughts, something outside of you. Your ego is kind of a protective mechanism that tells you things like, you have food in your teeth, right? Like that's the ego mind. But the real deep part of your soul has a totally different way of relating to the world. So see if you can find that peace while you're doing this stretch. Not always easy to do in this one. This stretch is pretty intense. And when you're ready, put your hands down and we'll switch sides. So you'll bring your left leg up, your other leg in front, and you're going to push this leg into the wall, the other one forward, forward for strength, and then use this front leg to push you back. Find that quad stretch. If you need to focus on the quad stretch, like if this is too intense for you or you're having trouble with it, then focus on the stretch, right? If it doesn't feel good, just get out of it completely. If you want to take it a step further, listen to your ego mind. Let it go. See if you can find that inner peace. You like it, don't you, when I have pure consciousness? Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, so close. We almost got a butt clean. Yep, just feet. Just clean your feet. Good job, sorry. This almost became not PG-13. I know. I'm going to keep it clean on this channel. Okay, hands down. Then both legs down. Good job. Let's see where we are. Okay, my friends, it's noon. So we're going to stop there. I feel like we did plenty of our chaturangas. I feel like we learned a lot about this pose actually today, and I'm pretty excited about what we learned. So now you know, if you are going to do yoga class, you have a couple rules. Move, resist, stay out of pain. And if you end up in this chaturanga many, many times, now you know what your range of motion is, and you know how to be safe in that range of motion. And then you can fake it the rest of the time. We focused on pure consciousness, letting go of our stage mind, letting go of the ego, letting go of the stage mom mindset, because who needs that? We worked on abundance and what that means to you, finding that in your body. What does abundance feel like? And dun, 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 we worked on suppression. Figuring out what is important for you and what's not. What are you going to carry from yesterday into today, and what are you going to let go of? What are you going to carry from last month into next month, and what are you going to let go of, right? So these are some fun things to think about. I hope you guys are all great and doing well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that little button in the corner if you haven't subscribed yet, and click the little bell icon, because I usually will send out emails or Facebook posts or Instagram or whatever about when my classes are, but sometimes I sleep in or sometimes I forget. So if you click that notification bell, you're always going to get notified when I put something new up or when I'm going to go live. So you'll have that information if you click that and the button with the bell, okay? Also, my studio's closed right now, so the only way that I'm really making money is if you guys make a contribution. So don't feel like you have to. If you're not making money, don't even bother. If you're collecting unemployment like a gazillion other people, don't send me money. But if you are able and willing to contribute to the Stretch Chi channel, there's a little button down there in the description below. It's a PayPal link, and you can just make a contribution of any amount, whatever feels good to you, okay? All right, friends, let me know in the comments what you think of class, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.